Hey YouTube, welcome to Clix Corner. Today I'm doing a top 10 list of the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh! Commons. Now there's a reason for this, and that is basically that I wanted to do a top 10 list of greatest Yu-Gi-Oh! Figures, and I'm sure I'll get there in the end, but there are a lot of really good figures, so I thought I'd take this one rarity by rarity. Now, obviously there are a lot more commons in Yu-Gi-Oh! Than there are anything else, as per the Order of Darkness. But there are a lot of really solid ones and a lot of really weak ones. Now, what just so happened to happen when I totalled up all the ones that I thought were worthy of being on this list, it just so happened to be exactly 10 of them anyway. So, here we go. Now, I think I'll preface this by saying the order of some of the things on this list changes depending on the time of day, really. Whatever mood you're in and whatever you're thinking is best at that time will change the order of when you think these figures are good and so on and so forth. But I think these are the greatest common figures in the 3 Yu-Gi-Oh! Heroclix sets. So, in at number 10 is Hero's Shadow Scout. And there's a simple reason for this. This is a 55-point figure with a weak little 4 range, which is fine because his main draw is his probability control, and that has a minimum range anyway. He's also got defend to put some 17s on some people because, to be honest, in a lot of the places with Yu-Gi-Oh! There can be some low defense values now and then, but all in all, the thing you're really using him for is the probability control at the bottom of his dial. Now, the reason why this is good for 54 points is because he ignores hindering terrain and opposing characters for targeting. Now, that's pretty good because it basically means he can see all kinds of stuff. He's also pretty good on a dark-themed team, which I think dark is the strongest keyword in Yu-Gi-Oh! So having a bit of prop for them is very helpful also. In at number 9 is another dark monster, Dark Assailant. It's going to turn up on my list of figures that were unnecessarily strong considering how bad the card originally was. So he's definitely going to turn up on another list, and Hero's Shadow Scout might turn up on that list as well. So although I'm not a massive fan of Blazeclaw's Fangs with stealth, he is a 54-point blades piece with outwit, super senses, and stealth. On his first 2 clicks of blades, if he rolls a 1, he takes 1 unavoidable damage, which obviously sucks. But if the result is 6, you give the target an action token after actions resolve. So I think, it's a fair trade-off depending on what rolls you actually make. And of course, the outwit is going to be very helpful as well. The one thing that does suck, as I already mentioned, is that the stealth he has on his movement power is going to mean he's got no movement attacks. He's going to have to move in, wait a turn, clear an action token, and then attack. So, for many reasons, the summoning sickness on this figure might make him want to go back to Yu-Gi-Oh! In at number 8 is Boar Soldier. Now, even I didn't expect this to be on this list, but Boar Soldier is a really good figure for 85 points. Now, he can use charge, or he can use it as a double power action to not have to harvest speed value from it. Now, that's not bad because it means if that 1 damage trade-off would mean you get into the battle faster, then it's worth doing. He does 3 penetrating damage with an 11 attack on his first 2 clicks. Well, he drops to a 10 on the second click. But, yeah, and he's got really strong keywords. Seto Kaiba is a good keyword, although there's probably much better in the keyword than him. Animal and Soldier, obviously really good keywords, and Earth isn't bad either. So, that's why Boar Soldier is not too bad. The question I have is, why is he so strong? I mean, he wasn't very good in a card game. Next up, we have Cyber Soldier of Darkworld. So this guy is low down on the list because of his mismatch of powers. Now, he has Running Shot with Range Combat Expert, and Stealth with Super Strength, and Range Combat Expert with Super Strength, and Enhancement with Super Strength, and Energy Shield Deflection with Super Strength. Now, those of you who are just Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans, this basically means he has Super Strength, which is obviously a close combat power, and a lot of ranged combat powers. Now, for 41 points, I'm not going to argue with what he does and doesn't have, because he does have a solid dial for this price, and he's got some very generic keywords in Dark, Future, and Soldier. He's only got a 5 range for all of this range combat nonsense, but he's still going to put in the hours if you play him, and ultimately he's really good. Next up is Kinetic Soldier, which is not far away from Cyber Soldier of Darkworld, just because this is a 64-point guy who can do 2 target energy explosion. Fair enough, he took a bit of a hit when the rules went down, and he's only got a 16 with energy shield, but that's pretty standard. Additionally, he's got a trait that allows him to increases attack and damage values when he attacks someone with Blaze Claws, Fangs, or Charge, which means he can preserve himself by stopping preemptive charge. The one thing I do wonder about Kinetic Soldier and Cyber Soldier of Dark World is, why don't either of them have either the armor or the robot keywords? I don't know, but these are two very strong robots. Next up is Neko Main King. Now, that's another interesting one to turn up on the list, but this guy is just so thoroughly annoying that he had to make the list. So as a trait, whenever he takes damage from an attack, so Mastermind Shenanigans are doing nothing here. After actions resolve, characters on the attacker's force can't be given actions until that player's next turn. Now, obviously, your opponent can mangle around this so that they attack this last on their turn, but that means they had to replan their turn to do so. And it's very easy to make this guy really annoying. I mean, he also has plasticity, so it's going to be really hard to break away. He's got alternating clicks of Perplex and Outwit, so he can be irritating you as well. And eventually he does go on to Super Senses as well, so he kind of makes you regret hitting him in the first place, trying to get him out the way. Now, if you carry him into the action, he can be even more irritating, because you can just throw him down next to whoever wants blocking up and have him just irritate the hell out of them. One thing that tags with him really well is Cannon Soldier, which is one of the very few figures in the Yu-Gi-Oh set which has telekinesis. Why I picked Cannon Soldier over Catapult Turtle is because Cannon Soldier is able to make the attack after the initial movement with telekinesis, whereas Catapult Turtle would allow Neko Main King to make the attack. Now, I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying I'd rather have Cannon Soldier do my fighting for me than Neko Main King. Coming in at number 4 is Firewing Pegasus. Now, this was a figure that was given away in the brick as a extra figure, which came without a card. Now, even though half the Firewing Pegasus is in existence had to have their cards printed off, it's a pretty cool piece, and it just so happens to work out really well with another copy of itself and a Flame Swordsman for, I think, a 300-point team if one of them is on the lower dial. So that's pretty cool. Basically what they do is they can Smoke Cloud as a free action when they have done their hypersonic speed with an 11 attack and a 3 damage. They're also really tough. For 120 points, I'd rather have willpower, but you can drop it down to its lower dial, and then it's going to do a just fine job. It's got those generic animal keywords, and unfortunately its only other keyword is fire, which really sucks. Fire is really bad, but ultimately, it's all in all a pretty good figure. Coming in at number 3 is Witch of the Black Forest. Now, depending on the day, I would say this is the best Yu-Gi-Oh common in the game, because basically when he's KO'd, when she's KO'd, she can remove one action token from up to 3 adjacent friendly characters whose total point value is 300 or less. Now, a little honourable mention to Sangan here, who does a very similar job, but only does 150 points, so he's obviously just inferior. Also, I think Enhancement is a better power than Empower, although Empower is pretty good as well, and that is what Sangan has. Finally, at number 2, we have Spirit of the Harp. Now, this is a very interesting dial, and I definitely guarantee that no one was expecting to see some of these figures on this list. Spirit of the Harp is a 4-range mind control and incapacitate. She can also barrier, and she also has Enhancement for 60 points, which is not a bad combination of things, because it means there's a lot of options of what she can do. But, never mind that, the important thing you want to look at is her trait, Soothing Music. You can give her a power action to choose a friendly character within 4 squares in line of fire, and Spirit of the Harp and that character can use willpower this turn. So that's going to mean you can push her to use that power action because she gets the willpower during the action, and then she'll get the second action token afterwards, which is the point of that. So basically, she's going to give someone on your team willpower, and when you're in Clix, really, willpower is the best gift you could possibly give to somebody. And number 1 is Revival Gem. Now, it really couldn't be anybody else because I just absolutely love this figure. On his top 2 clicks, he has a 50-50% chance of succeeding on a shape change. He's got no move and attack, but when he's KO'd, he returns to the board in 4 turns. Now, if you're playing a 4-way game, this is at the end of everybody's turn, so by the time it cycles back to your turn, this guy's back on the board. And it literally says in his own trait that you only get him scored once. Now, I don't know how much people do scoring in friendly games at home, but if I'm playing a 4-way game, we're probably doing scoring just to make sure that we don't run out of time. And furthermore, it is just pretty cool that he only gets scored once. He's also got Incapacitate, which is quite irritating. The full dial has Shape Change, and 2 of those clicks have 3 damage on them, which is insane. Furthermore, on his last click, he does have Regeneration, which can bring him back to life before he even dies. I mean, I'm not seeing a downside to this figure at all. And he's 52 points, so he's cheap as hell. He can fit in all kinds of spaces. The only problem with him is his keywords are Marek and Water, which aren't amazing. But, to be honest, I'll make an exception for him because I think he's such a good figure. So, what do you think of my list? Why don't you let me know in the comments and check out my next list, top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh! Heroclix Uncommons. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.